And we are back to IGN Live at E3 2013, streaming at you from e3.ign.com and youtube.com/E3. Right now, it's time to see what those pesky Hellgast have been up to. It's time for Killzone Shadowfall. As I live and breathe,
Hey.
Herman Hulst, how are you? Thanks for
Very
sitting here
well.
while I said all that jazz. I get it here.
Thanks for having me, Greg.
I'll tell you what, this Killzone Shadowfall
Yes.
comes out at the E3 the debut for the PS4 event, I should say, in February.
Yeah.
I'm immediately taken aback because it looks so unlike the Killzone games I've seen before in terms of color palette, right? Like, it's this beautiful, sterile world, and it's white, and it's cityscapes, and then bam, Hellgast get all crazy. Bring us up to speed if people don't know while we watch some footage here. What's happening in Killzone Shadowfall?
It's a fresh new look, right?
Yeah.
It was needed because it's a new story.
Yeah.
It's a Cold War setting. Now with the Hellgast and the Vectans living in the same city on the same futuristic planet of Vector, side by side but divided by this wall. It's kind of a Cold War Berlin kind of story. Your world, your home world, is constantly under threat, and we want you to really love that world. We wanted to create a world that's that's beautiful, that's kind of pretty actually.
Yeah.
And hence the new look, and of course PS4 with the capabilities
Sure,
let us do
sure.
amazing things with the lighting, the effects.
So
That matters too.
We've jumped 30 years in the future,
That is
right, from where
right.
Killzone 3 left. Was this something that you guys were interested to do? Did Sony talk to you about it, seeing as how, PlayStation 4, there's probably going to be new gamers. Maybe we don't want to push people off with the Killzone 4, and they're like, oh, I haven't played the first 3.
That's a Guerrilla Games decision.
Yeah.
We brainstorm. Sony's not the kind of publisher that comes in and says, we want you to change your franchise.
Yeah.
But they love the direction we've taken with it. And 30 years, it made a lot of sense, right? At the end of Killzone 3, the home planet of the Hellgast was blown up. New technology, enabling gameplay.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that too.
Yeah, well, let's talk about it. You can lead you can ask yourself your own questions. It doesn't matter. What is the new technology enabling some gameplay? How are you bringing the PlayStation 4 and making that, work with Killzone Shadowfall?
That's the thing. When you say PlayStation 4 and the announced demo, the 20th of Feb, that was all about beautiful cityscapes and graphics and new effects, etc. What we're showing here at E3 is all about gameplay, right? We've got a new character, a Shadow Marshal now. He's able to stand up to the iconic Hellgast.
Yeah.
These Shadow Marshals in a universe, they're kind of a one-man SEAL Team 6. They can either do deniable operations, all-out combat. This guy's got an owl now. He's got an owl that is this flying companion. It's kind of a very personalized attack drone that he's got available. Allows him to zip line, allows him to put his shield out, allows him to stun enemies, draw fire by putting it in attack mode. It really lets the player determine the pace of the game, which is great. Take a sip of water.
No, you're allowed to. I'll allow it this one time, Herman. All right, just this one time. You talked about that. You're showing this new character, right? Or this new. Are there different classes this time around in?
No. So you play as Lucas Callan.
Okay.
You're a lead character. You're the Shadow Marshal. So you're the guy that's going to have to do it because this Cold War conflict seems like it's spiraling out of control. You're direly needed to keep events in tune.
Why did people think it was a good idea to put ISA folks next to Hellgast with a wall separating them?
So you have this universe. These guys have nowhere to go. They've
Yeah.
basically had to ask for sanctuary, and by let's call it the United Nations of this universe, been asked politely by the Vectans, let's put this up. There's actually this wall encircles the entire planet of Vector. And that doesn't mean that the ideologies behind it or the motives behind these two very rivaling and hundreds of years old rivalry are now gone. That's still there. They're just separated by that wall.
Gotcha.
So it's not necessarily a great idea, but the best idea.
It's what you got to do, right? I guess that's the whole thing. Any port in a storm. Now, we're talking a lot about story. That's all well and good. Killzone, it's known for some gameplay.
Yes.
What are you guys bringing to the table this time? What makes Killzone Shadowfall a next-gen experience to you?
So, apart the graphics, I think what's really important now, we have much wider scale. We have very open areas now. So the level that we're showing here at E3, it's got 3-4 missions. You can complete them in a random order. It's all loaded into the same map. And that gives you a lot of flexibility. And how you complete these missions actually determines how the combat's going to flow, right? You take out the comms tower before you prevent the Helghast from calling in reinforcements, for instance. Just an example of that.
Sure.
So it's much wider open, and it really determines your experience. Every playthrough is completely different.
Wow.
It's great to share that as well, actually.
How do you continue to iterate on Killzone? I mean, this, so many times into the franchise now, and still come away where, well, why don't we do this? Or, I mean, are you taking ideas from other games? Or are you just locking everyone in a room till they figure out how to make a game?
So two things on that. We were brainstorming at the beginning of this project, and one guy said, let's say an iron curtain in space. And that really resonated, right? The imagery that comes with it. That, and then we also look at previous games, and we had this character in Killzone 1, Lugar. She was a Shadow Marshal.
Yeah.
We went back to that, so we never really did enough with that. And those two, that Cold War setting with this kind of gameplay, that really went together very well.
Do you ever worry about you personally burning out on Killzone? Like, you know what I mean? Like, do first-person shooters or just this franchise in general speak so much to you that you think you'll be with it forever?
So, two things on that. One is we love Killzone, and there's plenty of room to innovate within Killzone. So we just talked about it, a fresh new look, new gameplay style, new character, playable character. And also as a studio, we've got a new IP in development that we're not going to talk about.
God dang it, Herman, come on, give me the
High five.
exclusive. The world is watching.
Almost, nice try. But we love Killzone. We're doing two things, right? We're doing that new thing that we'll talk about that when it's ready.
Here on IGN. You'll talk about it here on IGN. We got it. Lock it in, written down.
Where else? But within Killzone, I think it's important to keep things fresh and to innovate with what you're doing. I think the backstory of our universe is so rich. There's so many ways to go. And if you look at Killzone 2 and 3, and now you look at Shadowfall, but there's a lot of differences there. There's a lot of innovations in there. So we're happy.
Before I let you off the hook, there's two questions. They're both about technology. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk to you about. For Shadowfall, how is the DualShock 4 coming into play? Have you done anything with touchscreen? Are you ready to talk about anything like that? Or?
Sure. No. DualShock 4, we're using all of the features on it. So we're using the speaker for radio chatter. We're using the touchpad to control the owl. So this attack drone I just explained.
Right.
But what we love about it is the outward face triggers that are the very low lag triggers that are amazing. We're using all of that.
Side note to that, one question, because I got one more. Did you move it down to triggers? Is shooting with R2 and L2?
Fire is going to be on the triggers.
Look at that.
Yeah, that feels awesome.
I bet. Yeah, I know, right?
It really does.
And for all these haters out there, the one thing they ever had to complain about, done now. There you go. High five. You nailed it.
Hey.
And then what about the Vita? You have Killzone Mercenary coming out right before this. Not right before, but close enough.
Yep.
There's all this integration between PS4
September
and Vita.
10th,
Yeah. Close enough. All right. What is the Vita talking to this version of the game, or is there any kind of interplay between them?
So we're making two separate games, each tailored to the bespoke platforms.
Yeah.
And it's a different take. Mercenary revisits the events of Killzone 2, but now you look at it from an angle of a mercenary. So you actually take the perspective of a victim as well as a Helghast.
Yeah.
So different play on it, and it's all about earning money. That game, right? So
of course.
Everything you through the dollars that you earn, everything that you buy, your loadouts, your equipment, your guns, all of that translates into multiplayer through a single bank account. Really cool game.
Oh, great. Herman, Mercenary comes out on the Vita in September.
Correct.
Shadowfall comes out on the PlayStation 4. It's a launch title.
Yes.
Whenever the PlayStation 4 launches, sometime in the holiday I keep hearing about.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. When you're ready to talk about that project, you come back to me.
We'll come back.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so guys, how did Killzone look to you? Let me know. Tweet at IGN with the hashtag E3. I really want to know. Tweet at GameOverGreggy2. Throw me a bone. Now, Killzone was just the start of our Sony Power Hour. Coming up next is a very pretty racer called Drive Club, and following that is a super cute game, Knack. Sony fans should not leave their seats unless you really want to, because technically I can't make you stay. That's torture, but I'll see you soon. Beyond.